Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream, and today is a very, very special day. Today I'm with Don O, and Don is probably one of the best, or I guess the biggest football card collector that I know. I would consider him probably one of the top 5 football collectors in the whole world. So Don wants to share with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 1935 Chicle set. And the Chicle set, as you know, it's really one of the key sets, or the key set, really the second set produced for football other than the 1894 Mayo. And the Chicle has pretty much all Hall of Fame rookie cards in it. That's pretty much all it is, you know.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, so it's a great set, and we're going to talk about some details of the set that you may not even know of. So we're going to share some things that you may never know, and I would like you guys to leave some comments. Any questions you may have, I'll forward them over to Don later on. But leave me some comments. What do you think of the set? Do you have any of the cards of the set? And, what questions do you have about this set? So, first of all...
Let's start with a wrapper, Orlando.
Yeah.
So
slide over here a little bit, Don. So Don's going to talk to you a little bit about the wrapper. So this is, I'll hold it here. This is the wrapper, the actual wrapper where the cards were in.
Yeah, and they came in the wax box. It's hard to get them perfect, but if you can find a good representation, it's just something to enhance your set.
Again, this is from 1935, so it's very, very tough. And you can see it's almost see-through there in the wrapper.
Yeah.
So you could probably even look and see what the card was, even at least the one in the back.
Maybe in the center
In the center, yeah. And it's a 1 cent. And how many cards came in this pack? Is it one card?
The 1 cent would be one card.
One card came in this pack. So that is the first thing we wanted to share with you is...
And a big stick of gum.
And a big stick of gum.
And then this is one of the premiums. I only have 2 of the premiums, but those are very difficult to find. And that's just an in-action shot of a Yale player scoring a touchdown, Morton. Like the Red Grange and the Giants, New York Giants football team, those are expensive ones.
Yeah.
If you can find them.
Now, when he talks about premiums, these are very similar to the premiums from the 49 Leaf that came in the box of wax packs. Mm-hmm. So what happened was you'd have the wax packs on the top, and on the bottom of the box, you had this premium. So I guess you could call it almost like a box topper, but it was on the box bottom.
Yeah, and whoever bought the last pack or the last stack of packs got the premium.
Got the premium. So.
And then this one is what I consider to be one of the most important premiums. That's Ernie Casey. He was the coach of Boston at the time. But on the back of every Chicle card, there's a bio of every player. And if you look, the autograph at the bottom of the cards are Ernie Casey. He wrote the bios for all the players in the set. And it's the only thing I know of that has an Ernie Casey on it.
So Ernie Casey was the coach
of the Boston team at that time.
Of the Boston team at the time. So he's the one that actually, again, wrote the bios and signed, or you see his signature here, that Ernie Casey signature on the bottom of the back of each of the National Chicle cards.
Right.
So let's take a look at some of the cards themselves. Again, these premiums are rare, and this, of course, the wrapper is extremely rare.
And then what I want to say first is there's 36 cards in the set. But if you're really going to build a master card set, you need to have 60 cards because of the variations. And that's what I wanted to explain to everybody so that you can identify the different variations. And we'll start out with Dutch Clark first. He's number 1 card in the set. And those are the 2 Clarks. That one's
so these are the 2 Dutch Clarks. Again, Dutch Clark is the number 1 card in the set.
And he was kind of like the modern guys always refer to, he was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson
Great analogy. I like that.
As
Yeah.
a player.
Yeah. So you see, they do look exactly the same on the front.
Yes.
Both of the cards are the same.
But when you flip them over, okay, you've got the bio, you've got Ernie Casey with the signatures, but you got to notice the placement and the size of the signatures. This one here with the small signature off to the side, that would be a Series 1 card. This, the autograph on the other one, matches the high numbers, and that one would be considered a Series 2 low number. And if you really want to talk to somebody about that kind of stuff and just have some fun, ask them if they got any Series 2 low numbers. You might get a chuckle.
Yeah. So you see the differences there. It's in the back in the autograph, the signature. So there are two different series. You know, this is very similar to the Diamond Stars that were produced in various series. Even though the cards are the same, they do have some differences, mainly in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna turn off this light here.
That's
There we go. I think it's better without that light.
Okay. And that's card number 2.
Card number 2 is Bo Melinda.
Yep.
And we take a good look at Bo here. And again, both of these cards look exactly the same from the front. Yeah, they're beautiful cards. Look at the action shots on those. These cards are just
With
awesome.
the artwork, it's awesome.
And then when you look at the back, you see the differences. And the difference mainly is, as you can see, the autograph here, or the signature there versus the signature there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go ahead and highlight that a little bit there.
Yeah. And I don't know if in the Gaudy baseball, if it translates to that, if there's a difference in baseball, because I'm not a baseball guy. But it's worth looking into for anybody that's a collector.
Yeah, I think in baseball it mostly resembles the that other the Chicle set the God, I just forgot the name of it. The
Gaudi's? Or
no, the other set that has my mind's gone blank. I'm getting old, guys. It's getting late. But it has different colors on the back for the baseball. It's the Chicle. It's the
Diamond Star?
Diamond Stars, exactly. So it's very similar to the Diamond Stars, where you'll have different variations based on the different printings, where you have the same thing with the baseball, with the football. But again, these were from 1935. So they're a little bit before those days. So that's the card number 2, the Bo Melinda.
And there's 3. George Keneally.
There's
Again.
George, and again, I'm going to go ahead and focus on that real quick. So you can see that, again, the cards were the same, but they were printed in a different series. So one of the series, again, has the signature this way, where the other one has the signature smaller and more closer to the end there.
Some people that do know about this, I've seen them when they list it or they put a sticker on it to identify. They'll put a LN, which means large name, short for large name variation.
Okay.
But there aren't a whole lot of people that really know this, and I just want to share it with collectors so they know what they're looking for.
Yeah. Now, Don, is Series 1 or Series 2, which one is rarer? Or are they equal, pretty much?
I think they're pretty equal, but I've had more trouble finding the large number.
The large number, and the large number is
large name, yeah.
And that's the first series.
No, that's Series 2.
That's Series 2. Okay, sorry. So that's Series 2. So Series 2 would be a little bit more difficult, but we don't have proof of that actually. So
here's the one thing that I do know just from research. When they made these, I had some old-time dealers way in the past that saw some stuff that even I didn't ever see. But they were able to confirm with me that when they printed these in 1935, there were 36 cards on a sheet. So what that's going to tell you is any of the small name, that was Series 1. you would have all 24 cards printed, but then they had to fill the sheet. So 12 of those 24 cards were actually double printed.
Okay. And you'll be sharing some of those, and which
Yeah.
ones were double printed, which ones were not.
Now this is an interesting
I
one.
love that card.
Mr. Matisse.
This is card number 4. Go ahead and put him this way.
Yeah. Now, the Matisse, he, good quarterback of the day and all that. But what's interesting about him, and one thing that I do not have, is I think only 3 have ever been graded, and it is a variation. This again has the small in the back, the large, Series 1 and Series 2. But when you look at the front of one of them, if you see one where the I, part of the S and the I are missing, it was a true error, and I think PSA's only graded 3 of them.
Okay, so that would be part of the I is missing,
Okay. The I and the S.
and the S. Okay.
Like half of the S and the I.
Right. And that would just be a printing error because it looks like it went right by that line there.
Right.
Okay. So again, first series, second series, very similar to all the other ones that you're going to be seeing here. And that was card number 4. Card number
here's
5.
Mr. Presno. Now this one has always been a tough card for me to find. I don't know why, in either signature. So my theory is that that particular card is definitely one of the shorter printed Series 1s, just because of the numbers that I've seen in my years of collecting.
And again, they'll give you a good look at the personnel there. Beautiful card. And then you see the back, how the name is there. And again, the name is a little bit different. And it's really the only difference that you can see is the autograph there.
Yeah.
The Ernie Casey. That's the only
And the
difference.
size of the print, because of the
Right.
way they...
The way that they set it on the card instead of on top of the type there on the side. So that's card number 5. Glenn Presno.
Card number 6 will be Pug Rutner.
What a name, Pug. I love those.
Oh, yeah.
I love these guys' nicknames. You know, football has the best nicknames out there. And Pug Rutner is one of those guys.
Yeah, and with the Redskin.
Yeah. With the Redskins, check out the logo there on the shirt. Look at the background. Him looks like he's kicking there, kicking off. So it's a beautiful card. And the haircut, of course.
Yeah.
And then the backs, you can see again the differences.
Small and the large.
Small and the large. So it's something you guys should look at when you're looking at these cards. You know, there are variations. There again, there's Series 1, and there's not Series 1, they're the same series, but the first printing and the second printing.
Well, that's why I would call it Series 1
And Series 2.
and Series
yeah.
2, but they're both low numbers.
Yeah.
Low numbers.
But they were both printed, you know, at different times. So they're different, literally different printings, different cards.
And then, here's a Hall of Famer. This one, I have a nicer one, but they're both with that back.
Ken Strong. Yeah.
So he's one that I would look to upgrade if it had the proper back.
So again, another Hall of Famer, beautiful card.
And if you ever
Take a good
find
look
one
at
of
these.
those centered, oh, jump on it. You
Well, I
never
mean,
see that card centered.
Any of these cards from the 1935 Chicle, if you find any of these centered, you know, it's just almost impossible to find them centered.
And that would be
And
Series
some cards
1.
are even tougher to find centered than others.
And there's your
And
Series
there's
2.
your Series 2, so you see the differences there. Series 1, Series 2. Card number 7. Let's go on to card number 8. Jim Zintel.
Yes. And, you know, again, low number, common, but everybody wasn't a common because when there's only 36 cards in the set, they were somebody in their day.
Right. And you got to remember, these were the top stars of the day. And even though they may not be Hall of Famers, you may not remember their names. You know, out of the whole football league, they only picked 35 guys.
Yeah.
So they were all good players. So there he is, and you can see that. I love this one because it's got the cheerleader kind of in the background there, cheering the fans, and he's holding on to that helmet there.
And he's got the big megaphone.
The big megaphone. I just love that kind of stuff. So again, in the back, you see the differences there with the Eddie Casey autograph here versus the smaller one on the other side. So that's card number 8.
Okay. Now we got a
Jim
big
Zintel.
We got a big one here now.
We got a big one. And the next one is the big boy, Nuke Rockne. One of the big boys, Nuke Rockne.
These are two of my nicer cards.
That's 2 of his beautiful cards. I do have one also. And as you can see, these are off-centered. And mine is off-centered too. They're almost all off-centered. This is one of the cards that I think is probably one of the toughest ones to find centered.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you find them off-center to the right or the left is what I've noticed here.
Yeah.
But again, a beautiful Nuke Rockne in a 6 and then in a 7 also. And again, off-centered, they're all off-centered. You know, if you look at this one, this was probably more off-centered than this one.
Yeah.
You know, but so Nuke Rockne, one of the key cards in the set, one of the best player managers. Basically, he was the guy. He was the coach. He was the man back in the day.
And that
so
would
it
be
says on here, immortal of all time college football. It's Nuke Rockne. So that is
Series 1.
Series 1, and that's the difference between Series 2. Again, same card, just the back is different. So if you're looking to be a completionist, you know, like Don and like many other of us set builders, you know, we want both variations. So Nuke Rockne, awesome.
And then number 10. This is one of my favorite players.
Number 10, Cliff Battles.
Cliff Battles.
Yeah, that's a beautiful card. Tell us a little bit about Cliff Battles. About
Well,
the card.
Cliff is a local guy. He's actually from Akron, the Akron area.
Oh, wow, I didn't know.
And to find this card in my neck of the woods is pretty tough. It's pretty tough. But he was a great player back in the day, and definitely a star in his day.
Yeah. Just, you know, again, look at the field in the background, kind of making a play there, and you see him kind of, you know, getting ready to rush through somebody there, putting his hand out, the standard, that's called the Heisman pose.
Yeah, the stiff arm.
That's what we call it, the stiff arm, the Heisman pose. Then again, you'll see the Eddie Casey autograph there, and you'll see it over here. The bigger one, the smaller one, and then again, they had to put this one over that information, so. Again, another big name, another Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Cliff Battles.
And then we got another Hall of Famer next. Turk Edwards.
Oh, yeah. Look at that pose. And look at that. I just love the logo on the shirt.
And look at
To
the
me,
old school referee.
Yeah, look at that. It's just beautiful. Let me get a good look at that for you guys. So you can take a good look at those cards. Look at that, crouching down, ready to go, block somebody, and the old referee back in the background there, and you know, get you a good look at Turk Edwards there. These are just such beautiful cards. And again, most of them have like a nickname, you know, where they have the Turk or whatever the name is, and kind of a Pug. You know, they have them in like that.
And that would be a Series 2.
And that's a Series 2, and this would be the Series 1. With the different signature, facsimile signature there. So card number 11. Again, he is another Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
Turk Edwards. Like I said, most of the guys in this set, you know, these are the stars of the day. And this set contains most of the rookie cards for these players that we're talking about here. They're all rookie cards, actually. It's just some of them are Hall of Famers and some of them are not.
That's on the plastic.
Tom
Hubkey.
Now, who is Tom Hubkey? I'm not familiar with Tom.
He's just a star player of the day. I think he played for the Detroit team back then.
Okay. See if we can get that clean. There we go.
Yeah.
Give you guys a good look at Tom here. Again, beautiful card. Look at the background. You got the bench there, looking at the field. See what's going on.
Look how big
there.
the holes in the top of the helmet
Look at the
are.
helmet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is when they first started helmets. They don't even have the face mask.
Yeah.
And you can see the back again with the two different variations. Now, this one, you can see that the name goes almost all the way to the end of the copy there, because this one's got a lot of writing.
Right.
A long explanation on there. So that's Tom Hubkey, card number 12. So moving on to card number 13.
Homer Griffiths.
Homer Griffiths.
There's a couple examples. He's one. Him and Hubkey, in my opinion, would be one of those double prints in Series 1.
Okay. And we're going to share some details as far as how many of these are printed, Series 1, Series 2, and then the high series, the tough short prints. So Homer Griffiths, look at him making that catch back there. And it's kind of a weird background because it looks like it's kind of like the river there or something. I don't know, with the city. So it looks like he's kind of playing outside or outdoors somewhere with...
It's got goalposts, so it's like maybe
it does have a goalpost
West
there,
Point or something.
Something like that. But again, you see the differences with the signatures there.
Now
this is a little different.
Yeah, there's a
which I
couple
just
of
saw.
them.
Let me go ahead and scroll down on
There
this
are a
one.
couple like that, but this would be the Series 2. It doesn't have the writing underneath, and you'll notice the size of the signature.
Yeah, this is the first one I've seen without.
See how much script they had on it,
Yeah,
though?
they added
That's
so
why.
much that they couldn't fit the rest of the stuff in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what that is.
Okay. Homer Griffith. That was card number 13.
Yep, and then we've got
Card number 14
Phil
is
Sorbo.
Phil Sorbo. So Phil, again, another great card. Great looking card there with the old style uniform, and he's got no mask, no nothing on there. And it says here he catches punts while the opposing line roars down the field to make the tackle. So here he is, kind of getting ready to run down the field with that football.
Yep.
And he's going to get tackled. So number 41, but it's number 14 in the set. And again, you see the backs. This does have the writing on there with the large autograph, and the other one's got the small autograph.
Right.
So that's Paul Sorby, card number 14. So we're getting almost halfway to the set here.
Yep. Ben Cissone.
Ben Cissone. Let's take a good look at Ben here. And I don't know much about Ben. That's a name I'm not very familiar with.
I think he was a Steeler.
You can see the uniform, nice uniform there, and you got some guys in the background. I don't know what they look like they're doing there, but they're hanging out.
A couple coaches talking, and one of his teammates.
Oh, that's what it is.
Like the sideline.
All right. So it says on here that he was a center.
Yeah.
He was a center. And again, you look at the difference here between the backs, where you have the big autograph here, smaller autograph there, and right off to the side there.
Yep.
So that's the difference between card number 15.
16 is
16.
Ben Smith.
Ben Smith. That's an easy name to remember. But look at the old style uniform on that.
The helmet.
The helmet
cool.
and the uniform, I just love that. The helmet is just awesome. Yeah, like you said, with the holes on the top there. And we'll give you guys a good look at it. You can see that with the holes up there and that old style uniform. And not much padding these guys carried, I'm telling you. They were pretty tough. And so you see Ben Smith, card number 16. And again, the difference is the name. How it's done, the Eddie Casey.
Right.
That's card number 16. Ben Smith. Card number 17.
Tom Jones.
Tom Jones, not the singer.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's a tackle there or something. You know, he's kind of
Mhm.
getting ready to grab
getting
this
ready
guy
to-
that's coming in the background there.
Yeah.
So I really like the action shots here. And again, they're very similar. They're kind of Art Deco-ish, you know,
Yeah.
type,
Absolutely.
which
Art
is
Deco.
very similar to the. I keep forgetting the name of the other.
The Diamond Stars.
The Diamond Stars. Very similar style, very similar artwork to the Diamond Stars, but for football. And just they're colorful. I just love to see the color on this, and the artwork is just incredible. And the back, again, two different versions of it. You know, you have. I've noticed for some of them they have a little bit white back versus some of the other ones. I don't know whether. Well, obviously there
Age.
was two different printings.
Yes.
So they may have used a little different paper in the second printing or not.
Possibly.
Or it could be just age.
Yeah.
You know, but either way, you know, there are two different versions of it. So keep an eye out for that. And again, we've talked about the versions. They're not, if you're going to buy one or the other, they're pretty much going to be the same price, mainly because the dealers don't know
Yeah.
that there's two versions. You know, most of the guys just assume that that's
They're all the
same
same.
card, front and back.
Yeah.
You know, but they're
And
different.
and a lot of people don't have a whole bunch of them to look at and compare.
That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah.
If you see a dealer that's got 5 or 6, they got a lot.
Right, right. Because you don't see these very often. I mean, these are pretty scarce. And this is the Nikolai.
Mm-hmm.
Again, looks like a running back there. This is a pretty plain card on this one. Not too much artwork on it. But you can see the back. This Ernie Casey here is pretty big compared to this one. That's a big difference in size there. There you can really tell the difference for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, card number 18 is Molak. So we're about halfway through the set right now.
Well,
And let's look at Ralph.
Ralph Kerscherville.
Ralph Kerscherville. Go ahead and take a look at Ralph Kerscherville here. And looks like he's a kicker.
Yeah, classic punting
Yeah,
pose.
classic punting pro. And look at the uniform again. Now I do see a difference in these two cards with the colors of the uniform itself.
Uh-huh.
And that's probably one of the differences because of the printing. They may have changed that. This looks like it has an orange in there versus this is just kind of more white.
Or they just
You know.
literally ran out of
ran
that
out of-
particular inkjet.
Right.
Ran out.
Yeah, back in those days, you know, I mean,
That's-
it's
that
kind of
kind
like
of
the
stuff
48,
happened.
49 leaf that, you know, they're different colors, different shades of colors and things like that because, you know, this is kind of wartime era. So a lot
And
of
then-
times, you know, they had to find whatever ink or whatever, you know.
And then, as
Paper
for
they
me
could use.
as a collector, okay, there's Series 2, and there's Series 1. But when I look at this card, as Orlando said, the difference in the colors, it just makes me more curious to see if I identify high series or low and pay closer attention to the color on the face to see if there's any other variations that may exist.
Right, right. And like Don is saying, you know, he has, you know, probably 100 of these cards overall. He's got probably 70 here or more than 70 right here with two variations of each. So he's seen so many of them that he can tell the difference. But most dealers and most people will not know. You'll see this and you think that's it. But yeah, there's two different variations. And again, here's the backs of it. We've shown that to you before. The 80 KC autographs. So that's card number 19.
And then number 20, Warren Heler. This was always a tough one for me to find too.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's a low number. You just don't see it that often.
Why would that be? I mean, just because
It
maybe
could
it's
be-
a nice, attractive card that people like, and
I think that part of it has to do with the Series 1 double print, single print on the sheet, number 1.
Okay.
So there's less of them, but it could be a regional thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I just know I don't run up against too many of those.
And at the end of the video, we're going to talk a little bit about the pop counts on these. So you'll see that some of these are a little bit tougher to find for some reason or another. Even though they probably were printed in the same quantities,
I would think so.
I would think. But again, very little research has been done in these cards, and just to have Don here share this with you guys and with me, and just show us all of the differences that he's found over the years. You know, this is stuff that I don't think anybody has covered on YouTube yet.
Number 20, Cliff Montgomery.
Take a good look at Cliff Montgomery here. Again, the classic Heisman pose there.
Yeah. Now, interesting, he's got the same jersey as the Kerscherville did.
Right.
With the different, but there's no color variation.
Exactly. There's no like orange on these, but they're both different series. And you can see the difference in the series right there.
Now, see, even though they offset it, it was because of the script, but it's larger name, no little byline underneath that talks about Eddie Casey.
Right. So you can see the difference there. A little bit less copy on one
So
of
again,
those.
we'll have Series 1, Series 2.
Series 1 and Series 2. Okay, that's card number 21.
Yes. And 22 will be...
Oh, that's one of my favorite cards. Shipwreck Kelly. Oh, this is an awesome
Same
card.
jersey again.
Yeah. Let's get it right in the middle here. Take a look at it. Yeah, this is, to me, this is one of the best cards. I love just the action shot on this, because it looks like he's diving towards these guys. And, you know, these guys, no helmet. You know, they just did whatever they had to do. These guys are tough.
I love the nickname.
Yeah, Shipwreck.
Oh, come on.
And you can see, you know, how they put it up there, Shipwreck Kelly. Because he's going to wreck all these guys.
For a football card,
Yeah.
we got to talk Greg into buying one to put with his pirate cards.
Yeah, that's right, Shipwreck. And there's the back of it. And again, you can see the difference here with the signatures. The big one and the small one there. But everything else looks to be exactly the same to me. I couldn't find any of the differences there. So, Shipwreck Kelly, number 22. Now, card number 23.
Batty Feathers.
Batty, there we go.
Here's what's cool about Batty Feathers is if you look at the NFL record books, he is the first running back in the history of the NFL to rush for 1,000 yards in a season.
Oh, look at that. I didn't know that. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. So the first running back to run for 1,000 yards. And I just, the background of this, it's like a cityscape. Looks like it's got like the city in the. Let me get a good look at it for you.
Or a college
Yeah,
campus.
because these were more college than anything, I think. So this looks like it's a college campus back there.
Yeah.
And you could probably figure
With
out
the chapel.
who that would be. Yeah, we could probably one day figure that out. Somebody could research that. But you know, just great stuff. You know, nowadays they have the downtown cards.
Yep.
This is kind of a downtown 1935 downtown Chicle. And look at the backs again. You see how that Eddie Casey,
1 and 2.
1 and 2, the Eddie Casey there is bigger and more to the center, and the other one's over off to the right. So again, good stuff. Now, one thing I did notice on this one, that's a difference is it doesn't have the registered thing on this. You see this? That has 1933 National Chicle, where it doesn't show up on this. And here it says one of 240 players. So there is a difference here.
Yeah.
Not just that.
Right.
But there's a difference on the bottom with the I guess the registration or the whatever that is called.
Trademark.
The trademark. That's what it's called.
1935.
Yeah. So that's another difference between the first and the second printing of these National Chicle cards.
And this will be the last low number, Hall of Famer.
Last low number. Big time Hall
Clark
of Famer.
Hinkle.
Big
Clark
Hall
Hinkle.
of Famer. Clark Hinkle. Clark Hinkle, this is a pretty valuable card actually, because he's pretty famous and he's one of the big time Hall of Famers, one of the toughest cards I think in the set to find. And he's a kicker.
Yeah.
You can see him there.
And the Packers. He was known.
Packers.
He was actually known for being the guy that they would put up against Bronco Naggerski.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Because remember, the guys, they played offense and defense back then.
Oh yeah.
You know, they played it all. These guys were not wimps. So let's take a good look at the Eddie Carey. Eddie Casey.
Eddie Casey.
Casey in the
Now
back.
see, it doesn't have it on that one
It
either.
doesn't have it on that one either. Yeah.
On the-
yeah. That's
It's
his phone
interesting,
ringing, but
yeah.
don't worry about it.
They'll call back. Okay, but yeah, there's no.
Yeah, so that's also missing some of the copyright information on there. So let's go on to the next one. This is number 24.
Okay, these are, we're gonna get to the high numbers. Now we got number 25.
The high numbers are really the toughest ones to find.
Yeah, these are tough. There's my Dale
So
Barnett.
these are the high numbers. Let's go ahead and get a good look at Dale Bernett.
I can't believe they didn't put Don Hudson in this set.
Really, that's right. That's right. He should have been in there. So there's Dale Bernett. Now, this is, again, the high series and the short prints.
Mm-hmm.
So they only made one version of these, right?
Yeah, they will all have the large, just like the Series 2
Just
low
like the
numbers.
Series 2. So these were printed along with the Series 1. No,
Low-
the Series 2.
It would, this would be printed along with the any of the Series 2 that had the large name.
They had the large name.
They all have the same
They all were
backs.
printed on the same sheet. And from what you told me, there's 36 cards to
Yeah.
the sheet.
36 cards on the sheet. That's a full set.
Okay.
36 cards in this.
So that is Dale Bernett. And that's card number 25.
26, John Isola.
John Isola.
He's off center, but he was just too nice of a card. I had.
It's a beautiful card, and you can see him as the center there, getting ready to hike the ball. And again, this is one of the tougher cards, the high series. We'll share the pop counts on these, but now all of these now are going to have the bigger name of Eddie Casey,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be over the other stuff there. So that's the John Isola, card number 26. Now card number 27, which is
Bull
one of
Tosie.
the toughest cards in the entire set is
Good luck.
Bull Tosie.
Finding that one when you're looking.
Yeah,
That's a tough card.
yeah, it definitely is a tough card. It's one of the short prints, and you could see how beautiful it is with the logo of the Redskins on his shirt, and the helmet, and again another Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
And a big name Hall of Famer, Bull Tosie, and I love these names here. It's Flavio Tosie
Mm-hmm.
is his name.
Bull's his nickname.
Bull's his nickname, and this guy was 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, 195 pounds. Not big by today's standards, but in those days
He was
the bull. So that's Bull Tosie. Card number 27. So
28.
not card number 28 coming up. And
Stan Costa.
and Costa. I love this running pose there. And
Yeah.
And this one again has the old uniform. I guess is this like the Packers uniform?
Looks like it. Yeah.
It looks like the old Packers uniform, and again, it's got kind of the white, not the orange, but it does have a
Yeah.
little bit of orange on there somehow.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the white is what it should be in this particular pose, I think. So this is again another one of the short print high numbers, and very, very, very tough card to come by. And again, it's going to have the same thing with the large Eddie Casey autograph on that, and it does have also the copyright stuff on the bottom. So that's card number 28.
Number 29
Card number 29.
would be Jim McMero.
Jim McMero.
He's
Again, another
high
short
number.
print, high number. One of the tough cards to find. We're going to share the pop count on these, but these are approximately half of the population of the low series. Because again, the low series, they printed them twice, first and second series, and these short prints, they only printed it once.
Yeah.
So
Now
they're going to be about half. And
here's
go ahead.
another one of the same card, but it's a variation that usually you could pick up pretty cheap for one of these. And I call it a massive mookie.
Okay.
Because you don't really notice it here, but when you turn it
I don't
around,
see a pinhole. Oh, okay.
No,
There
that's
you go.
a
That's a
hole.
hole. That's a mookie hole.
Okay, and what this was that it's a perfect round paper punch. You will see chicle cards that have that, because this was basically during the Depression.
Right.
And the movie theaters would sell you a 1-cent pack with the gum. They would give you the card, and it was your ticket to get in to go see the movie, and they would punch it.
Oh, that's so interesting. I had no idea.
Just some Americana
Great stuff.
history on this stuff.
Yeah.
So just for something else to highlight your set, if you ever see one with a paper punch, just grab it. It could be any of the players. This just happened to be a high number.
Right.
That they did that. So
it's kind of a rare type thing that somebody treasured that card.
Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there. So, and again, the backs are the same because it's the short print high series. There are no differences on that. Again, this one in particular has that
The paper punch,
which is so cool. I've never seen that before. So that's card number 29. So now we're going to get into card number 30.
Ernie
And
Casey.
that's another beautiful card.
Yeah.
Look at these guys in the background. You can see like the coach back there. Looks like he's pissed off.
And that's like the other ones, the Cissone and some of the other.
Right,
you know.
right. With the team, whatever team that is back there.
Yeah.
But Ernie looks like he's number 1,
Mm-hmm.
and he's running right through, trying to go through the line. And it looks like these guys kind of got tackled or knocked down as he was doing that. And again, the back, it's going to have the large Eddie Casey on there, you know, right on the middle of the card versus over to the right. And this also has the copyright, the 1935 National Chicle, Cambridge, Massachusetts. And that's card number 30. So card number 31 is Nikolai. Let's move it up a little bit here. And you see the Art Deco style with the 2 different colors and stuff that they did in there, and the bright colors. I think that's what makes this set so attractive. you
It's
know.
definitely Art Deco.
Definitely, yeah. And it's just
That's where America was in the 30s.
that was the days. And you know, if you go down to South Florida, I live in South Florida, and you go down to South Beach, those hotels were all built in the 30s and 40s, and they're all Art Deco style. And that was the theme of the day.
Yeah.
So you see everybody did that, not just the football cards, but again, Diamond Stars cards also were the same style.
In any of these high numbers.
Yeah.
Good luck finding them.
Good luck. And his real name is Armand Nikolai. He was a tackle for Pittsburgh.
Yep.
But again, it's Nick. Nick, because they couldn't say his name Armand.
Yeah. And then the Green Bay Packer fans love this guy.
Oh, I love that card. Now this, I know because you've told me, is one of the toughest cards to find in the entire set.
That's hard.
Not only is it a high number and a short print, but a super short print, I
Yeah.
think is what it is. You know,
That's a tough card because if anybody gets one, they hold it. It doesn't come up for sale very often.
And we'll look at the pop counts on that, and so you'll see that. But you know, Swede Johnston is a Hall of Famer. He look at the Marquette banner on the back.
I know he's in the Packer
And,
Ring of Fame, in the Packer Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, in the back, you see the same thing with the Eddie Casey in the middle there. And that's card number 32. Card number 33. Ernie Smith.
He's another Packer.
Another Packer with a nice uniform there, and again looks great. Great card. You know, I like the lines and the orange and the red in the background, and
Art Deco.
just makes the guy pop. You know, he just pops right out of the card, and I love that. So Ernie Smith, card number 33, and you can see there the back with the Eddie Casey, and again all of them are going to have, all the high series are going to have the name large in the middle like that. And this is card number 33.
Yeah. So here's the big boy that everybody's probably been waiting to see.
Bronco Naggerski. This is the key card in the entire set. This card, and yours is beautiful, Don. It's a gorgeous card, my friend.
Yeah.
Look at that.
PSA only thinks it's a 1.5.
1.5. That thing looks beautiful. Sharp card. Looks great. You know, a little bit off-centered, but you know, nice corners and all that. I think this should be graded a little
I
bit
can't
higher.
even see
I don't know why
any
they did
creases
that.
in there.
We'll take a good look at Bronco Naggerski, but Bronco Naggerski is probably, or no, he was the best player during those days.
In that era,
In that era,
yeah.
he was it. You know, big, strong guy. You know, look at the Minnesota pennant in the background, and his uniform, and just the look of his face is like, you know, come at me, I'm gonna get you.
That particular card is
Yeah.
one of the prides of my entire collection.
This is, for anybody, or for me, this is a grail card. Any football collector out there, this is one of the cards that you must have. To have a complete football set of the top, let's say the top 5 cards in the football hobby,
Or the Mount Rushmore.
or the Mount Rushmore of football, this is it. You know, he is one of the Mount Rushmores. I would say he's one of the, I'd say he's the top 3 cards of football.
on everybody's
On
list.
everybody, yeah. I'd say he's one of these, definitely
would
top 3
agree.
of them all. So, incredible card, number 34, Bronco Naggerski. Now, I was going to ask you here, you know, it says originally, I think they were going to produce 240 cards, because this is one of 240 football players.
Yeah,
But they never did end up
never
doing
did.
240 cards. They only ended up
36.
doing 36 in 2 different print runs and with some
And
variations.
then number 35.
Number 35,
Luke Johnson.
Luke Johnston. Again, another beautiful picture, catching that ball, running away from the guys. It looks like they're going to come get him, you know. Luke Johnson.
He's another tough, really tough card to
I
find.
would imagine these all are going to be tough. And you see again the Eddie Casey in the center there, because these were all printed single print. This was pretty much a single print
Yep.
compared to
series.
the other ones that were printed twice. And again, this guy 6'2", you know, 190 pounds. That's a big guy back in those days. So,
Yeah.
Card number 35. Now,
That's
the
6.
last card in the set, card number 36, is again one of the key guys in the set. And he happens to be a high number. It's Bernie Masterson,
Again,
Hall of Famer.
I don't like to bash on the grading companies, but they give that a 2 too. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever.
I don't know how that could be a 2.
I know, whatever.
But, you know, it doesn't really matter because, you know,
Centering.
us as collectors,
I don't care.
we love the card, and the card looks better than the 2, and it's a beautiful card. And
I got it at a better price.
Yeah. And you can see him throwing that pass. He was an incredible player, you know, like most of these guys. These were the best of the best back in the 30s. And you see the back of that card. The quarterback, Nebraska.
Yep, the large variation.
6'3", 200 pounds. He was a big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially back then, you know. So he played for the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
It says on there. So there's Bernie Masterson, and that is the last card in the 1935 Chicle set. So let's talk a little bit more about the set here, and I want to share some of the stats that Don was able to come up with.
I kind of put some notes together, and just to give people the idea of a total breakdown.
Let's go ahead and put this page
Yeah.
up here first, so you
And-
can kind of take a good look at it. I'm gonna
It's just
kind of
something
zoom
that
in a little bit here so you guys can see what he's talking about.
when I was playing with it, okay, if there's 36 cards on a sheet, and let's say they printed 1,000 sheets, okay, that means that there's 1,000 of every card. But in Series 1, you would have double prints and single prints. So when they printed the 36,000 sheets or cards, 2,000 of every player would be a double print, and you'd only have 1,000 of the single prints. And when you go to Series 2, when you look at Series 2, it would be equal because that's all there is 36 cards. So these would all be the large number variation.
The second printing of them.
Yes. So it would be a third, a third, a third. So you have 1,000 of each. So when you really look at it and add it all together in population, and I'm not sure, it might not carry through 1 through 12, 13 through 24. Okay. They could have, who knows which 12 they put on the double print to fill out that sheet. But no matter how, when you do the math, what that tells you is that whatever the 12 that were the double prints in Series 1 added with what they did in Series 2, even though there's variations, there would be a total of 3,000 of those cards.
Produced.
Yes. Then there would be 2,000 of the single print from the first sheet, and
The variation one with the
yeah,
back with the Casey date.
yes, with the large number that would match the large number. There would only be 2,000 of those. Now those would all be low number,
Right.
25 and
So that'd be a total of 5,000 of the low number cards.
yeah,
You know, in both variations.
right.
Versus 1,000 of the short print, the high series cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
And it's just
Great research there, Don.
You
Really
know,
appreciate you sharing this with us.
some people can, you can play around with the numbers, and I do know, I was told from old time collectors that there were 36 cards on the sheet. Who knows what the production was? I just figured 1,000 because it was an easy number to divide by.
Right. And then the other thing you did was you actually went to the PSA
PSA,
website.
SGC, and Beckett to come up with a total of just whatever grade, it doesn't matter, just a total population
Of each card.
of each card. And I kind of wrote that out, and when you look at all the low numbers, okay, they're all, let's say, 200 to 300, except for like the real popular names like the Rockne. They've almost graded 500 of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you look at the Naggerski compared to the other high series of short prints, the
Yeah.
Naggerski's 200 and the rest are, in the 100s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
like
because again,
around,
that's the most valuable card, and that's going to be the ones that are going to be graded
yeah,
the
but
most.
you're basically looking at let's call it 150 versus
300 and something, yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
And that Matisic error that I was telling
That's
you
the
about.
one that you focused on right down there.
Yeah.
There's only four, you
PSA
said.
is graded 3 and SGC 1, so there are 4 of them out there graded.
Yeah.
Just something that,
You got to look for.
Yeah.
Not something you have, but something to look for in the future.
right, but if a lot of people don't know about it, you might be the lucky guy that finds a raw one.
Yeah. That's right. You never know. Never
So-
know. So, guys, that is it. That's kind of a big rundown on the Chicle cards. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of set some of these on here for you, just so you can take a quick look at some of these. But that's what they are. The National Chicle, 1935. And I just want to thank Don for helping us go through this and do all the research that he's done. And I hope you guys get a lot out of this thing. And again, leave me some questions and let me know what you think. And, if you've discovered anything that we haven't shared, let us know.
Yeah.
Because you may have found something that we don't know about. And if you have that other real short print mastic guy,
Yeah.
let me know.
Yeah.
Because Don would be interested in buying that off
Yeah.
you.
And thanks, Orlando. And it was a pleasure doing it. And, we love it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. This is Orlando from My Collector's Dream. Have an awesome, awesome day. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.